Hey everybody, the culture that I will be studying is the Himba culture, and I apologize if I get any of these words mispronounced. It's all in a language that I'm kind of unfamiliar with, so you just kind of bear with me on that. So the Himba are located in the Kunene region in northern Namibia near the Angola border. They have a population of roughly 50 to 60,000 people. They are a democratic republic, meaning that they have one overarching chief who makes all the decisions, and the chief has a council of elders to help him make the decisions. They usually use the Namibian dollar if they do need to buy anything with currency within the country, but however, inside the tribe itself, they use a barter system, so they trade a lot within the tribe. They are a strongly collectivist community. Everything is tied to the family and everything is tied to the clan. All decisions are made for the good of the clan. This is different from the US because a lot of things in the US are individualistic, meaning that it's kind of in the best interest of yourself and what you can do for yourself. They require extremely high context communication because they use a lot of shared values, a lot of experiences, a lot of nonverbal cues. So an outsider would not really totally understand their level of communication because their level of communication is kind of within the tribe. They have an extremely high uncertainty tolerance because they are semi-nomadic and they live in a very hot part of Africa, so they can tolerate whatever kind of conditions. And if the conditions get too much for them, they can get up together as a tribe and they can move to another location. Their perception of power comes from their elders and their chiefs. Like I said, they are a democratic republic, so those two figures make most of the decisions in the tribe. And they're very cooperative, meaning everybody in the tribe works together in harmony. A few differences between the Himba and the Americans is the Himba utilize communal living. They require memory-based knowledge compared to America, where written documents are the most accurate form of information. Their beauty is tied to tradition. I mentioned a few times that they paint themselves red, the women do. And they have rigid gender roles, meaning that women strictly do housework and men strictly tend to the field, which isn't something that you see in America today, because you'll see women and men kind of take on both gender roles within the household for the better of the household. Some things that might be a culture shock for Americans coming to this tribe is that nudity is very normal. The women walk around topless and they paint themselves red, which can seem as performative in the US and just something that's not normal. Both of those things are not normalized in the US. They don't have any form of infrastructure. They have no electricity, no running water, and women bathe themselves in smoke to cleanse themselves. To reduce culture shock, Americans should keep open-mindedness, they should respect their traditions, and they should observe, but don't intervene with whatever the traditions may happen within the tribe. And also, it's a good idea to watch documentaries ahead of time if you plan on visiting this tribe. They have a few traditions, so cattle are very sacred within their tradition. A lot of trading between members of the tribe happen, and a lot of trading between other places happen by them giving cattle. Cattle are seen as very valuable. The women paint themselves red, and then unlike the US, they have a naming ceremony where most of the time names are decided through lineage and through tradition, even though today in most American people just kind of choose names with whatever they're feeling, basically. They have a lot of nonverbal communication, so slightly different than the US. So no eye contact is seen as respectful. Lower members of the tribe do not address their elders with eye contact. Completely opposite of how it is in the US. They do body paint. Like I said before, the women are bare-breasted, and that is normal. And another thing that they do not do for the Himba that is kind of uncommon in the US is the Himba do not show any forms of affection whatsoever in public. All affection is completely private. They don't touch each other in public. So it's a little overview of the Himba culture. I'm extremely excited to deep further into this culture. It seems like a very interesting culture, and interested to see what everybody else's culture is that they decided to research on. Thank you guys.